thrown weapons in Warframe have never really been super powerful or meta. But if you ask me, you shouldn't let that stop you from enjoying a good old dart to the head. Or in this case, a spiraling star dagger of doom thing. But regardless of that, hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into the Spira Prime, a mastery rank 10 secondary thrown weapon. As per the usual, I'm gonna have a cheap build, something affordable that most should be able to build, but of course we also got the quote-unquote endgame setup with Prime mods, Rivens, the works. That said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides usually take a more new player friendly approach. I'm gonna be taking my time and explaining whatever I feel is necessary for newer Tenno. So in case you're a vet and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Spira Prime. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and for that, just a couple of lobster tails. The Spira Prime is a pretty simple and straightforward weapon. It's a secondary thrown weapon, and you might say, thrown weapons, right? Warframe never been powerful. And to be honest, you might be right, because I can't remember a time when thrown weapons were actually powerful, and this has nothing to do with the state of melee and all whatnot. Thrown weapons were simply never really super powerful as far as I can remember. The Spira Prime, however, is one of the best. So basically you have an overhand throw and then underhand throw. The trajectory is slightly different, as you can see, but basically the projectiles will be reaching the exact same spot. This being a projectile based attack, you got travel time and of course projectile drop off as well. The good part is it's automatic. So all you gotta do is keep your trigger finger pressed down, and that's pretty much it to functionality. Reload is super quick, but the magazine is not all that high at 12 ammo. Now let's have a closer look at stats to see exactly what we're dealing with. Mod capacity 60 out of 60, and if your comes with only 30 out of 30, jump into actions, plug in the auto king catalyst and double that mod capacity. Is it worth it on a weapon such as the Spira Prime? I'm fully aware that a lot of you guys tune into these reviews just to see, hey, is this powerful enough to build or not? And the short answer is no. It's really not all that powerful, but it definitely has the cool factor, at least from a subjective standpoint. If you don't know where to get an Arcane Catalyst, you can grind one from Grindwave, Nightwave, you can pay 20 plat to have one installed, and you can get a blueprint from the Daily Sortie, etc, etc. Now my weapon has been format a total of 4 times. This is not a forma heavy weapon, definitely not, and just simply go with V symbols or mod right. The weapon Plexilus or Exilus slot is 100% worth unlocking, because once again, we can use lethal momentum and increase the projectile speed, which will make it easier to aim. Leading your targets with a projectile based attack is definitely a thing, and lethal momentum helps loads with that. There's no recoil, there's no need for pistol ammo mutation or whatever else, so go with that one. When it comes to the stats, 100% accuracy, should you go with Magnum Force? My friends, who am I to Jesus, dropped to 5.7. Who am I to stop you from doing something like this? Definitely, I will encourage you to try it, but keep in mind that if you lose accuracy on a secondary... Look at that. Look at that, it's like candles on a cake. If you lose accuracy on a secondary critical weapon, then you got nothing. You got nothing without that headshot multiplier. You don't have a lot without it, and you have nothing. You don't have a lot with it, and you have nothing without it. Base critical chance is high at 30%, and the critical multiplier is fantastic at 3.0x, a lot higher than usual, which is basically 2.0. This does keep the weapon to a decent level, but unfortunately it's being dragged down by the status chance at 14%, and don't get me wrong, 14% wouldn't be all that bad if you put a lot of bullets or a lot of projectiles into your target really fast. But you don't with a weapon such as this one, so bear that one in mind. Fire rate of 3.43 with a magazine of 20 and a super quick reload at 0.8. Hey, here's a plus side to the Spira Prime. It's silent, and in case I'm underselling this weapon or you feel that I'm bashing it, I'm really not. I love this weapon. Honestly, it's the most powerful thrown weapon from my subjective point of view. It's not all that powerful. It's as simple as that. Doesn't mean I don't like it. Automatic trigger, and the damage is high on puncture, which is really good. Because puncture will be dealing extra damage to heavily armored targets. This being a critical weapon, we go with puncture for the biggest wallop that we can, especially when it comes to corrupted heavy gunners, bombards, etc, etc. Now, I'm fully aware you guys love slash, right? If you got slash on a weapon, then you got some hopes of taking out super high level targets. Even if I did have a whole lot of slash, I don't have the status chance to back it up, so bear that one in mind. And check out a standard build. Damage with Hornet Strike, multi-shot with Battle Diffusion, as well as lethal Touring, critical chance and critical damage combo between Pistol Gambit and Target Cracker. We're gonna go for the normal versions first, and then we're gonna switch to Prime mod simply because not everybody has Prime mods. Following, we got two 60/60 mods in the form of Jolt and Pistol Pestilence, forming corrosive on the weapon. Always keep in mind that elemental combos are 2x2 with a priority from top left to bottom right. In this case, going for the meta, which is essentially Vital and Slash, is not all that feasible on this weapon, so I would suggest you try Corrosive. One slight issue with that, Jolt is not exactly farmable from the game. This one can only be obtained from Battleketeer the Void Trader, and he brings the electricity mods once every couple of months or so. The problem is, recently he's got a new tradition, which is weird. He doesn't bring all the electricity mods, he brings some of them. So this caused Jolt to be a bit more expensive on PC currently. If you're impatient, rest assured the mod is tradable and you can get it from the trade chat. And you know what? If you just want to sacrifice Jolt, then forget about it and use the 90% mod instead. It's not gonna be as good though. This is what I like to call an option slot. Plug into this one whatever you feel comfortable with. For example, you might like something like Punch Through, even though on a projectile based attack, I wouldn't necessarily encourage it. Perhaps you don't care about the negative accuracy penalty and you might want to go with Magnum Force and use it as a shotgun. But in that case, you're better off swinging a melee. There's two solid choices from my point of view when it comes to damage on this one. First is going to be Hydraulic Crosshairs. Now this is a bit of extra crit on a crit weapon. Yeah, it's like logic. But that's not important. What is important with Hydraulic Crosshairs up, you go to over 100% crit chance, so all your shots will be guaranteed crits. Here's another good option from my point of view. One more 60/60 mod in the form of Scourge. My friends, right now, Corrosive and Heat, deadly combination. Definitely you can go for something like so. But you know what? It shouldn't always be about the damage. Right? It should always be about, at least a little bit about usability. So perhaps you want a little bit of magazine capacity. Ice Storm and Cold. Now granted, this combination of Corrosive and Cold is not exactly fantastic, but hey, a little bit of crowd control, right? Point is, this is your option slot. Plug into this one what you think is gonna tickle your fancy. Now let's test out the weapon like so, and then we're gonna go with Prime mods. Level 120, Corrupted Heavy Goons, as per usual. Fun fact, it's 2 in the morning and my baby's sleeping and I'm trying not to wake her up. Straight for headshots, mama. Oh, I got him, mama. I got him. I'm so happy. I got him. Good, no impact proc. I hate impact procs. As you can see, I need about an entire magazine to kill off a level 120 Corrupted Heavy Goon. It's not fantastic, considering the drawbacks of a thrown weapon, and not necessarily just the Spira Prime. Any thrown weapon, small magazine, travel time, drop off, this overhand throw and underhand throw business, which can be a bit confusing to some players. I think these weapons should be a lot more powerful than they are. And again, I don't remember a time where these weapons were legitimately strong. Perhaps it's the time for thrown weapons. Don't get me wrong, I don't want them to be meta or anything. I just want the developer to recognize they got some drawbacks and reward the player with a bit more power when they get it right. Does that make any sense to you guys? But in any case, that's performance with standard everyday mods. Please tell me I didn't have Corrosive Projection. No, I didn't. Fun fact, I don't play Trinity. I just use her for the fashion. Now, we're gonna bump up things with Prime mods, and then we're gonna switch to Warframe buffs. Now, in this case, I got 86.1. I could switch from Hydraulic Crosshairs to the 60/60 Heat mod, but I know you guys like orange, so let's go the more orange crits. One more time, the Corrupted Heavy Goons level 120. Since a lot more people have Prime mods than they have Rivens, I guess this would be a good test. Oh yeah, that's better. I didn't need a whole magazine to kill that guy that time. Look at that. I had 2 left that time, 1 left this time. So you do get a noticeable performance increase. And if you're newer to Warframe and you're salivating over those Prime mods, being like, oh dude, I can't wait to get them. If it comes down to a choice between which to get first, go for the critical damage one over the critical chance one. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're eventually gonna need both of them, but Go for the critical damage one first. It will carry a greater impact on more weapons. Well, my friends, you know what time it is. Time to leverage that high Riven disposition and actually get some really good performance out of the weapon with this Riven. Believe it or not, this is mine. I didn't joke when I said that I love the Spira Prime. Honestly, I think it's a fantastic secondary. I love to play with it. It's not uber powerful, but this one, critical chance, multi-shot, toxin, minus status duration 94%. This used not to be an issue on corrosive builds. It used not to be. Now it is, for obvious reasons. But you know what? My targets will be long dead before that status duration actually nullifies the armor removal. Allow me to show you. So again, that is actually my Riven. I'm not saying that minus status duration is good. No, as a negative. I'm not saying that. We'll talk about every rook. See, this is why I don't care about minus status duration in this case. Look. I hurt him so bad, mama. I hurt him so bad. But take a look how fast that status proc disappears on there. There you go. Look at it. And gone. And gone. And gone. You see that? Honestly, if this didn't have minus status duration, it would have been so much better. So, if you guys are interested in a good Riven for this weapon, here's what I would go for. Multi-shot above everything else, followed by damage and critical damage. Okay, that would be the 1, 2, 3 with a harmless negative. If you guys might want minus impact, you know, so impact doesn't proc anymore and the target doesn't jiggle exactly when you wanted to get the last headshot in, this would also be a good idea. But as you can see, if you get a Riven such as this, because let's be honest, Spira Rivens, nobody cares about Spira. Who cares about Spira Rivens? There's gonna be that one guy in the chat, right, saying like I have 20 Spira Rivens now. In any case, these are considered trash Rivens, so you can get them for a steal, you can get them for super cheap, and maybe you get lucky with the rolls. Even a suboptimal roll such as this one will carry a big impact on the weapon simply because it's a disposition of 4 out of 5, my friends. Now, my favorite part of the review. Oh, one last thing about minus status duration. If you know you're not gonna really get a whole lot out of that status application, you might want to drop the 60-60 mods and just go for the 90 mods. I mean, if it's gonna be a big wallop, let it be a big wallop. So I'm gonna go like so, and like so, and like so, and like so, and like so. Now, of course, I could use one more format, but you know what? No, I had enough. It's time, my friends. It's time for the ever so lovely Lady Mirage Prime and her fantastic buffs. We're gonna go like so. This is my updated Prime Mirage look, and we're gonna match to the Spira Prime. This is a secondary weapon, so no point in going for the Sentinel trick. And when it comes to Warframe buffs, corrosive projection against heavily armored targets. This is not a mandatory thing in Warframe unless you guys really want to go for high-end stuff. What would be high-end stuff in Warframe? Something like Steel Path, even though I still don't see a whole lot of point to it, there is that to take into account. Or perhaps I don't know, you want to spend 5 hours in an endless mission, because you have your reasons, right? When it comes to arcanes, these are a lot more impactful. Arcane Avenger R5 from the third Eidolon down on Cetus, a massive 45% critical chance boost for 12 seconds, bonus additive after simply stacking on top of what you already have. It applies to your primary, secondary, and to your melee at the exact same time. If you're interested in offensive arcanes, prioritize this one over everything else except legendary arcanes such as Energize, of course. Simply because Energize kind of enables a lot of builds. When it comes to your secondary arcane, let's assume for a second that you're gonna go for 2 arcanes that bump up the damage of your weapons. Then in that case, you would go with this one. Arcane Precision on headshot, 100% chance for a massive 300% damage to secondary weapons for 18 seconds. Honestly, you shouldn't really go for a setup such as this. I mean, most players are gonna have one offensive arcane, one defensive arcanes, or maybe even both arcanes focusing on the abilities and the power of the Warframe. It really depends on your preferences, but I love my weapon, so there you go. We're gonna bump up the level to 155, we're gonna activate Mirage's Empower ability from the helmet system, and then her free Eclipse for an absolutely massive damage increase. Now the clones. Let's see how hard it can... Oh, mommy. Oh, that's a one-shot. I don't even have the 290 mods. It's a one-shot. I don't think my clones are even hitting it. My friends, this is the Spira Prime. It's the Spira Prime. It's really not all that powerful of a secondary weapon, but this is what you can do in Warframe when you have the correct mods and the correct knowledge. Make no mistakes, Warframe hasn't really ever been a game about skill. It's more about accumulation, right? About collecting and about knowledge. You want to be powerful in Warframe? You simply gotta understand the game, which is what I intend to teach you with these guides. But I think that's enough of that. As for a conclusion on the Spira Prime, it's a sexy, smooth weapon which can pack one hell of a punch in the right circumstances. Is it one of the most powerful weapons in game? No, but you know what? It doesn't have to be. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And if you got any sort of feedback for me, by all means, my friends, drop it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, if you guys want to suggest any particular type of content. For example, I would like to see this weapon review, or that weapon review, or perhaps even something else. Here's a question, my dear friends. Would you like to see some Ark survival content? Once again, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!